I'm a chud, I'm a fat little chud, playing league all day until the sun comes up. I'm a chud, I'm a chud, I'm a fat little chud, why would I get a job when I can live with my mom? I'm a chud, I'm a chud, I'm a fat little chud, I got nothing to do, so I go to Fuda. I'm a chud, I'm a chud, I'm a fat little chud, I can't see my own meat, fill my stomach with treats.
That's my little introduction to get people into the mood for what my video today is going to be about, because I was requested by OrnyX, or maybe it's pronounced Ornix, or maybe just orcs like the animal, but I was requested by this person on my Beatrice and Bryce Yume shipping video. But I was asked to rank all of the students at Bullworth Academy on who would be the biggest Redditor. Now, I asked if it was okay to use the same thing that I did for my bear fighting video. However, I was not responded to enough in a timely manner, so I'm just going to do it anyway. But I will give like a definite answer, because their actual thing was request for a video ranking which student is most likely to become a Redditor. Now, the thing is that Reddit was not like Reddit. The thing is that Reddit was founded in 2005. However, it didn't have all of the same modern day things that it does now. However, because I consider bullying to take place in the school year of 2006 to 2007. But my thing is that for purposes of this video, let's just say that they are all using the modern day Reddit. Now, I will be ranking them in 3 categories. One is of my least severe, the lowest, is does not use Reddit. I think this is pretty self-explanatory, is that this person would not be using Reddit. The other is Reddit user, which is, as pretty self-explanatory, uses Reddit. And the third category is Reddit moderator. Now, I'm not using this actually as like that they are a Reddit moderator themselves. I'm using this to show that they're kind of like on the deep end. Like, they probably need like some psychiatric interference at this point because of how much they're using Reddit. But on with that, I will start with the actual ranking. Now, Algernon. I want people to understand my reasoning when I put Algernon and does not use Reddit. Because, Algernon quite literally probably is the epitome of a little chud that lives in his mother's basement. But the thing is that I believe that Algernon would be the sort of kid that has his screen time heavily moderated. And because of this, I think he just wouldn't be allowed to use Reddit. He alongside the nerds would be like Butters in the World of Warcraft episode of South Park, where he's Algernon, you're constantly on your computer. Yeah, but I'm not browsing Reddit. It's like, of course you're browsing Reddit. It's like, no, I'm playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure. But my thing is that I don't think Algie would be actually permitted to use Reddit, which is like, it's probably good. It's probably a good preventative measure for him. Because, like, if Algernon got onto Reddit, like, he would be a Reddit moderator. But I think his mom would be, like, limiting how much Reddit, like, his access to Reddit. And because of that, that's why I'm saying that Algie does not use Reddit. Angie does not use Reddit because, kind of similar to Algernon, she does have, like, kind of a strict mom. And I don't think her mom would want, like, Angie to have, like, any social media. However, I do believe Angie would be aware of Reddit because she would be, like, getting it, like, secondhand smoke from Christy. A little spoiler, but Christy is going to be, like, she's not going to be in the does not use Reddit tier. But when we get to her section, you'll see what I have to say. But I think, like, Angie, like, her exposure to Reddit would be through Christy. But she would not be actively a user herself. Now, Beatrice is a Reddit user, but I don't think she's a Reddit moderator. I think Beatrice is, like, a very light Reddit user because she's, like, trying to study more often. So she would kind of be using it for, like, study tips and the such. And she'd probably be going on to like the like slightly gore stuff on Reddit in order to try and desensitize herself into being a doctor. But like she would be going on to like the Ask Reddit like medical questions and be seeing if she could diagnose it as like a little trainer. But I don't think she'd be like, fully endoused in the Reddit culture. Like she would be more like actually like, studying and like she's somehow living a basement dweller lifestyle without doing anything a basement dweller does. Cause there's nothing nutritional I think she eats. Like she knows like the active damage being caused to her body, but she like just low-key doesn't care. Cause like she's only getting like 4.5 hours of sleep a night, and like that's not healthy. But as I said, I think Beatrice would be a Reddit user. Biff does not use Reddit. Like, I think Biff would be, like, the type of person to be bragging on social media about stuff. Like, but I think he'd be more, like, going on TikTok and posting, like, semi-thirst traps. And he would, like, use that to, like, try and steal people's girls. That way he can call them broke, bitchless losers. But I don't think Biff would actually be, like, into the Reddit. Like, I low-key don't think he reads a bit. But he does not use Reddit. Now, Bo would not use Reddit. I don't think Bo, like, uses much social media. I think he's far more, like, he's, like, actively working out instead. And he doesn't have, like, a real reason to go. Like, I think he's the type of person who's watching freaking VHS tapes in, the 21st century. Like, I think he's, like, watching his, like, dad's VHS tapes, instead of, like, because I think he just seems like he would not be up to the times with technology. Like, he probably still has a Walkman. Like, don't look at this face, and don't you think that some nice Walkman headphones would fit well? Like, yeah, I just think he wouldn't use Reddit because he doesn't have the desire or the technology to get to it. Bryce would be a Reddit user, but he would be doing it in order to try and get, like, money from the freaking awards and stuff. Like, I think he'd be trying to scam people on Reddit. Like, Bryce, like, would consider it a job and would be trying to, like, get people to give him money on Reddit. Like, he would be writing those, like, engagement-based stories in order to try and get money. But I also think Bryce would low-key be telling people to kill themselves on Reddit. Like, this is a face of someone who, like, wishes... none of his lines wish suicide on others, which, like, I can't say about the rest of these people. Like, all of them are hate-filled bastards, I should say. But, Bryce would probably be using Reddit, and he'd also probably looking at ways to, like, try and get money, because, he's broke. But he would be a Reddit user. Bucky would not use Reddit, but Bucky would be, like, the thing is that I don't think Bucky would be allowed screen time, kind of similar to Algie. Like, Bucky, I remember his, like, lines like, I get to stay up till 10 a.m. tonight and watch TV. Like, tonight is bath night. That means I can stay up till 10 watching TV. Like, Bucky, like, I feel like his grandma has him on that uber restrictive, social media stuff. And he just wouldn't be able to access Reddit. But if he did, he'd be a freaking Reddit moderator. Like, I think Bucky would Bucky would be showing people on plans on how to make, like, homemade grenades on Reddit. Like, but he's just not allowed to. Casey, I don't think Casey would be able to actually navigate Reddit. He doesn't have that good a grasp on the English language, so I think maybe a lot of the text-based stuff on Reddit would, like, just not interest him, and because of that, I don't think he'd use Reddit. If anything, he'd be using, like, Instagram to try and, like, hit up on women, but he would get rejected all the time, so then he'd stop using Instagram. But, Chad would be a Reddit user. I think Chad would be someone who's trying to, like, use Reddit as a normal social media thing and get followers, like, and have people give him, like, upvotes and the such. the thing is that I haven't been on Reddit for a while. Like the only times I go onto Reddit are to like look at the bully subreddit. And oh my gosh, the thing is that I used to go onto the Record of Ragnarok Reddit. I only stopped because the only way I'm actually Record of Ragnarok is this freaking amazing manga. It's a horrible anime. Don't watch the anime, read the manga. But it's an amazing manga where it's basically historical figures are fighting against religious and mythological ones over the fate of humanity. And it's so peak. But I stopped going onto the Reddit because I'm only up with the physical English publication, which is like trailing behind like the anime and the, English translations online. So I'm trying not to spoil it. But the Record of Ragnarok subreddit is so freaking funny. Like from my memory, maybe they all like died and it's only a husk now. But it's like when I was on it, it's truly like the funniest freaking thing ever. But, back to on, like, I think Chad would be trying to use it as, like, a normal social media and use it to get validation and popularity. He'd also be looking at, like, those fashion subreddits and, because the thing is that, like, Chad is interested in fashion and jewelry. Like, so I think he'd be looking up that stuff on there. And, like, he'd also be, like, trying to show off his, Chester onto cute animal forums. And, so that's why I say he's a Reddit user. Christy is a Reddit moderator, and listen to me here as I explain, because I think Christy would be the type of person who has, like, literally every social media around. Like, she probably still has a freaking LiveJournal. Like, well, I think LiveJournal was still alive during her days. Like, you can tell she had on my... You can just tell from the bottom of my heart. And, like, I think I have, like, actually, no, I don't. I have a big heart. Unlike my uncle who has a pig heart, but I can just tell that Christy would be a like Reddit moderator because she would be on all social media looking at stuff. Like Christy will be looking up at those basically writing exercise forums where it's like the fake stories and such. But she would be so invested like on those like I don't want to say that word because I just don't want to, but like am I the devil, best of, it's like she would be looking at those sorts of subreddits and be looking at all of the drama and like will be actually like frothing at the mouth over it. And like she would be like telling like the good stuff to Angie. So like Angie is like a secondhand smoke victim of Christy, but Christy would be on freaking I think Christy would even be on, like, 4chan trying to find, like, green text and all of the things. Because, I've been on 4chan, but the thing is that it's, like, it's a complete poser site. There's not that many, I think people are going to tag me for that, but there's not that much interesting stuff actually on 4chan, but it's because it's not curated a lot, so you can't really seem like, the cream of the crop. It's, like, just all meshed together, but it's hard to find stuff. Maybe it's just because I'm, like, on, like, the LGBT forum of 4chan, and, like, that's just the one where they call themselves slurs all the time, instead of calling, like, other people slurs. But, I think Christy would be a Reddit moderator because of the Reddit drama. Clint/Henry, I don't think Clint would be, like, permitted to be on Reddit for his own sanity. Like, I think Clint would be, like, on the only, like, website he would be on is, like, one that's, like, had to be translated from Russian to Arabic and into English. And, like, it's, like, the most obscure thing ever over the most, like, niche topic ever. Free finger fishing, where it's, like, you just use your hands as bait. And, like, it'll also be, like, over, how to, like, soup up your fan and so it can be, like, a viable engine. Like, he would not be on, like, something as mainstream as Reddit is what I'd say, but he'd be on, like, the niche websites. Konstantinos is definitely going to be on Reddit. Like, he is, like, doesn't Konstantinos kind of look like a Reddit atheist? Like, I think Konstantinos would be one of those, like, doom Redditors, like, billions must die. He's, like, looking at all of the Wojaks and being like, yeah, this is an accurate depiction of reality. He just seems so miserable. Like, I truly believe that he would be, like, the type of person to be using Reddit. But I don't think Konstantinos has enough drive to move into a Reddit moderator, unlike, Christy. Cornelius. Cornelius would use Reddit, but he would, like, it would be the most, like, light using of Reddit ever. It's like when people are, like, it's not like garlic, because he's actually, seasoning his life with the inverse of garlic with Reddit, which is, like, he's trying to use as little as he can. But I think it's because, like, a lot of his friends are on Reddit, and they, like, keep telling him to go look at their Reddits for stuff, so he has to, like, be forced to use it. I also think, Cornelius would be enjoying, like, freaking, like, those math Reddits, or, other, like, academic focused ones. But because of that, I do believe that Cornelius would be a Reddit user. Excuse me. I looked at, and I see Damon, and, like, I looked at him in just the way that it looked like he was staring directly into my eyes, which, like, they kind of all are, but it was, like, in a scary way, because I'm laying on my stomach right now. The thing where it's like the, oh, princess, feet clap? That's what I'm, like, that's what my posture is right now when I'm making this. But, so I'm kind of, like, looking up at my screen, so it was scary. But, back to the actual topic of the video. Damon would use Reddit, but he would be using it to cyberbully people. Like, Damon would be going onto Reddit and, like, kind of telling people, like, life doesn't get better. Like, he would be showing photos of his, like, his muscular body on people, like, trying to improve themselves, and it's, like, cry harder. He just seems like that kind of guy who would do that. But he'd also be on, like, those sports Reddits, looking for, like, really nice Super Bowl pictures. So, like, he is athletic, but I think he could be a Reddit user. Dan is a Reddit user. Dan definitely is a Reddit user. And, like, he is, like, a recovering nerd from, as we can tell from the dialogue by, like, Cornelius. It's, like, it's Thad's older brother, in reference to Dan, thinks he's so cool now. And, he also seems to have, like, a thing with Ernest. Hi, Ernest. But Dan would be, like, trying to hide his nerd, and it would only come out, through Reddit. Like, you go through his, like, Reddit browsing history, and you're gonna be, like, seeing, like, Warhammer 40k forums, and he, like, like, if he were discovered, he would, like, delete it, and he would never use it again. Like, when people, like, it'll be like he's trying to stay sober, but I don't think he's fully recovered yet. Like, I think it's, more of a suppressed aspect, but Dan would be a Reddit user. Davis would be a Reddit user, and he's just, like, I don't think he actually uses Reddit to look at stuff, but I think he uses it to bully people. Like, Dan would be, like, looking through it, and he would, like, find Konstantinos's, handle, and start, like, leaving hate comments on every single thing that's underneath him. Like, Davis would just probably be using it to bully people, because sometimes people have the mistake that Reddit is their safe space. No, because Davis is coming for you. Davis would also be the people who, like, leave really unhelpful advice over any question. Like, it's like, oh, how do I get rid of the spider in my house? And he's gonna be like, burn the whole house down. It'll get rid of it. But, well, that technically does work, but it's not that great way of working. Darby would not use Reddit. I don't think Darby would use social media at all. Like, he wouldn't, like, maybe he'd browse, but he would never have an account for anything. I think it's because, like, he doesn't want anything embarrassing he does online to be discovered, because Darby understands the concept of digital footprint, like, unlike me, like, because I'm posting this. But Darby, like, knows that, like, the online world has real life consequences. So Darby would not be using social media, let alone Reddit. Because, like, if he were to use social media, like, I think I could see Darby on Twitter. Because, like, Twitter is owned by, like, Elon Musk now. and he would be the type of person to like kind of follow Elon Musk. Elon Musty, actually. That should be the new name for him. But Darby like would not be using like Darby's not like a red-pilled Republican. He's just like war in the Middle East Republican. Well, like with the modern U.S. system, it's like both sides are like war in the Middle East. But Donald uses Reddit. Donald's a Reddit moderator. Like, don't look at that, like, because Donald has so much, like, hate in his heart. Like, I think he's truly making, like, an assassination list. So, like, everyone needs to be careful. Actually, not you, Ernest. You can be, like, uncareful. But, like, everyone needs to be careful, because I think Donald is, like, the type of person who's, like, browsing Reddit, with the billions must suffer, but similar to Constantinos. But Donald would also be looking at, like, the My Little Pony subreddit, and, like, be like, yeah, like, do you know the problem with My Little Pony Nazis? Maybe well, I'm not saying that Donald would be a Nazi, but he would be, like, the type of person to be, like, really edgy online because he has no way to actually fulfill himself in his real life. Like, he's using Reddit moderator status as what it's for, as a power trip to go harass the defenseless online. Duncan would be a Reddit user, and Duncan, kind of similar to Dan, is like a former nerd because he has like he dropped out. He might have been the person Davis bullied to drop out, or what was that? Wade, but Duncan has like those nerdy interests such as Warhammer 40k, and you can tell I think he would be pushed to Reddit because none of the people he actually hangs out with, Otto and Jerry, I can't find... Where's Jerry? Oh, there's Jerry. Otto and Jerry, you see they don't share his interests, so he kind of has to be pushed to having online friends in order to, find a way to fulfill his interests. And, I think I could see Duncan on Tumblr, too. But, I think he would be, making internet friends, and, just trying to have, a happy life on the internet. With showing off his Warhammer 40k stuff, maybe he could find someone to play chess with. Would any of you guys in the audience play chess with Duncan? I would, because I actually know how to play chess, and I was actually part of my school's chess club, and I was one of the best members. But there was only 5 members, so it wasn't really hard to be. But I would play let's get Duncan some internet buddies. Ernest is a Reddit moderator. Ernest is such a power-tripping bastard. Literally. The thing is that, the freaking chapter 1, and he betrays Jimmy. For what? Because you think Algie just got all that smack talk from himself? No. He got it probably from Ernest. Ernest also, plotted against Jimmy behind his back. So, he needs a way to exert his power. And unlike Darby, who has, money to throw at things, Ernest, is, looking everywhere to find a way to feel powerful. And I think he would find that by becoming a Reddit moderator. Tell me you don't look at that and be like, your meme violated this community service, terms of community service. I don't know. I don't really use Reddit, as I said. But Reddit is just gonna call to Ernest for a siren in the night, and he's gonna be tempted, and he is going to abuse the power of a Reddit moderator, which is none. But Edgar would not be using Reddit. Edgar would be, let me compose my thoughts, because lots of things are... My mind is like a racehorse, but it's about to break its leg and then have to be put down subsequently, because, horses, want to die all the time. They're like toddlers, because they're very unintentionally suicidal. But Edgar would not use Reddit, because I think Edgar, just wants to go outside. He seems like someone who is far more interested in, physical activities. Like, he would be going, like, rock climbing and then would probably die from, like, falling off of the mountain while rock climbing. But he would be, like, physically outside in nature. And we know that that is, like, a bit of an antithesis to being a Reddit user. But because of that, I think Edgar would not be using Reddit. Edward would not be a Reddit user. Like, Edward has so many other things to do in his life. Like, because if you guys have seen the Bully, I believe it was, like, the Facebook promotionals, but they gave a bunch of characters, like, their own little, like, page insight on them. And those characters included Edgar, Edgar Seymour II. It also included Damon, Johnny, let me find them, Trent, and Tad. Oh, Tad, where are you? Where's Tad? This is so scary. Oh, hi, Tad. But it gave, like, little insights on all of them, and he's part of a freaking yachting club. If you can afford a yacht, you can afford to do other things than Reddit. So I don't believe that Edward would be using Reddit. This reminded me of This is the Skin of a Killer, Bella, because my friend made me watch the first Twilight movie, and, like, did I pay attention to it? No, not really, but I remember that part. Ethan is a freaking avid Reddit user. Ethan's kind of gullible, so I believe that he would be on Reddit and truly believing, like, every story he sees without a suspension of disbelief in some cases, because you guys can't trust the internet, because the internet is a cruel and malicious place. But Ethan would be going there, like, like a little baby lamb waiting to be eaten by thousands of predators. But Ethan would be going there, and he would be, like, looking up, like, Bruce Lee movies. He would be, guys, think of it. Do you think that Ethan would be on, like, I have never seen Naruto, but I know that Ethan would be on, like, the Naruto subreddit and just be using it to, like, see, like, the, like, aura farming clips from the show. Like, he would be, like, just yapping someone's ear off on Reddit because, like, he's probably annoyed all his friends enough that they stopped really listening, so he goes to Reddit in order to show off his interest. Eunice. Surprisingly, I do not believe that Eunice would be a Reddit user, because I think Eunice is trying to better her life, because, she talks about, like, life after high school a lot, and she talks about wanting to be associated with the jocks and, like, hating nerds, and, like, she said it's, like, better to be, like a non-click than over a nerd, and I think she would consider, like, Reddit, like, a loser nerd thing, and she wouldn't want to do it. So Fatty is, like, the freaking optimum of a Reddit moderator, because, like, look at this wannabe swagger, because I think he has the fingerless gloves, he has the faux hawk, he's got that little smile that scammed me, because I'm still angry about the freaking, like, $5 things, because genuinely, nearly threw up there, because genuinely, nearly, why is he charging $5 for, like, $1 items of chocolate and literally free stink bombs? Like, that's not, he would be, like, on Reddit to be power tripping, and, like, just look at that double, I was gonna ask if that was a triple chin, but that's just his neck. But, like, Fatty is definitely, like, a Reddit moderator. Like, I actually think he would be a Discord moderator too, because, like, Fatty seems like he could have a couple kittens. But, okay, Gary would not use Reddit, and I have such a great explanation for this, is because Gary would think that Reddit is for just mainstream losers, because he is a 4chan user, and if it was still up, he would be an 8chan user, because Gary would not be using the internet for, like, traditional methods of what people think are fun. Like, Gary, like, when Gary was still talking with Petey, he would be like, Petey, don't you want to see this picture of a dead body I found and like, on the internet? And Petey's just gonna be like, oh, that's cool, but I'm putting Petey back. But Gary is like just looking at gore sites online. Like he is looking up public executions. He is not like, you know, he's gonna consider Reddit just like for mainstream losers who can't handle real toughness. He just called them basic because with that, Gary would not be using Reddit. Gloria's a Reddit user. Gloria, she doesn't seem to have many in real life friends. Because I remember she had a line where it's like, boys find my intelligence intimidating. And I feel like she'd be looking for online friends, but she'd want a way to like curate them and like focus in more on like specific interests. So she would be using like Reddit forums to go look for friends, like specifically like, and also Reddit has so many like niche forums, and she has so many niche interests. So I think it could really work. Because remember she wants to be like a Sumerian text, going into archives. Like I think she'd be like one of those Reddit detectives or like Reddit fact checkers where it's like, I'm looking for this one item, and she'll find like its make, model, and like specific warehouse it was manufactured in. But I just don't want to put her as a Reddit moderator because I don't think she wants to have that sort of power yet. Like let her develop. Let her get to let her get to puberty at least before we make her a Reddit moderator. Gordon is definitely a freaking Reddit user. Gordon is lying online for attention, and one of those places he would be lying is Reddit. Like, Gordon would definitely be the sort of person to be making up fake stories, and it's like, I found out that my dad is actually my son, and I also found out that my mother is actually not related to me at all, and it turns out that my dog was adopted. Like, he would be, like, making up the most random stuff online in order to get engagement because, he wants attention because I don't think his parents love him because I don't think any of these students' parents love them because they were all sent to Bullworth. Actually, no, I think, Angie is loved by her mom. I think Gord is loved by his dad, or at least he loves his dad. Like, that's good for Gord because, like, all the other preps have families that abuse them. But, like, Gordon is just gonna be, like, he is looking for karma online at, like, Reddit karma, I think. I don't really know how that works because, as I said, I'm not a Reddit user. I was a Reddit peruser because I would, like, occasionally look at it. But Gordon would be lying for attention online, and that would make him a Reddit user. It's just that I don't think people would believe him enough to put him into Reddit moderator status. Like, he'd get called out on his lies one time, and, like, it would kind of make him... he would cry. Gurney would not use Reddit, and, like, I think that's good, because Gurney low-key gives vibes that he would be grooming people. But, so I don't, for my sanity, like, I'm not putting him online because he would be grooming children online. Because I still remember, he has a line about Mandy, with her pictures, taken in paparazzi. But, like, I'm pretty sure Gurney is, like, an adult man. Like, I'm pretty sure he's, like, over 18. Because he's the second tallest, click character in the game, only behind Russell. And Russell, like, has, like, an actual, like, condition, possibly. Like, Gurney is just kind of a creep. And I think Gurney was trying to go the old traditional way of, finding girls whose parents don't love them or don't care for them, which is actually a big thing, is, like, do not let yourself get groomed by people because your parents don't like you. But Gurney would be, like, going the old traditional way of, like, hitting up women. Well, not women, like, actual kids, like, but, he does go after women, too, so that's good. But Gurney would be, like, hitting them up and, like, in real life, offering to buy them a drink, which you should not accept. But Gurney would just go the old traditional way. Hal would be a Reddit user because, like, you ever see those, like, insane food subreddits? I haven't because, as I said, I'm not Reddit. But Hal would be, like, going on those, and, like, he would be the most dry person on Reddit ever. Like, you'd get a thumbs up and, like, put, like, that looks great. or like you get like what seems like erotica, but it's written about food. But Hal would be using Reddit and I think Hal doesn't have that many friends. Like, you know, he is friends with the greasers, but I think he's going to be like finding ways to try and improve himself online, like, you know, build up that self-esteem. Ivan would not use Reddit. Like, Ivan is a pretty sleepy person, so I think he'd want to make the most of his time awake, and I don't think making the most of your time includes using Reddit. But, you know, maybe that's just me. Jerry's a Reddit moderator, but he would not actually moderate anything. Like, I could see Jerry being very susceptible to influences from the internet, even more so than Ethan here. But I truly believe that, like, Jerry is, like, going into those Reddit rabbit holes where it's like, you know, found a recording device in my painting, and, like, I think there's someone watching me through my walls. And, like, people, if Jerry posted any of his things online, like, people would kind of be feeding into his delusions, and, like, this would make him use it more because it gives him validation. But I think Jerry would be, like, so entrenched into, Reddit that, like, he wouldn't need, like, actual psychiatric care to get out of it. Jimmy would not use Reddit. Why is that? I just realized that it's spelt wrong, but Jimmy would not use Reddit. You see, Jimmy, he does things in the real world. He doesn't even read comic books. What makes you think he's going to read Reddit stories? The most that he does is, like, video games, but Jimmy is, like, in the real world, doing things he can, like, interact with. Like, he's very, he's more into physical action, like I said, similar with Edgar. So I don't think you'd ever see him browsing online. But I do believe that Jimmy could possibly be, like, a Reddit celebrity, because, like, other people in Bullworth will be, like, telling Reddit stories about him, and it'll be like a mystical figure like Mothman or other cryptids. But, like, he would not actually use it himself. Okay, we have Johnny here. Johnny would be using Reddit, but he definitely should not be. Like, I think I could see Johnny, like, showing off pictures of his, bike, because, you know, none of them actually have cars. Like, I believe not Miss Phillips, but I believe there is one line where it's like, look, I forgot what I was going to say, but Johnny would be showing off pictures of his bike, and would be like, isn't this cool? And, like, then you just see, like, this actually unhinged. It's like, my girlfriend is cheating on, my girlfriend of 3 months has been cheating on me for 8 months. But it would be, like, something insane. And then, like, people on Reddit would keep bullying him into making updates, and he would get, like, further entrenched in it. But when he got out, he would feel like such a horrible, feel like a worser person. So he'd stop using Reddit, but then he'd get back on it again, and, like, the cycle would would go on again. Because I think, like, you know, when you're with Lola, it's very cyclical. Oopsies. But, you know, I think he's just addicted to things that, like, it's like a drug addiction. And, like, I think people on Reddit might be healthier with, like, actual drug addictions. However, Yuri, like, okay, guys, listen to me, but Yuri would be using Reddit because, you know, Reddit has some picture, like, he would not be reading any of the words on Reddit because he can't really read president, but he'd be looking at the pictures. But I think he'd be, like, looking advice on how to deal with, the side effects of steroids, because in a lot of his lines, Yuri does seem to be concerned about, like, the pharmaceuticals given to him by Mr. Burton, because, like, I remember there's, like, the question is, like, have you ever taken, like, pharmaceuticals? And he's, like, worried about, like, acne on his back, and he's worried about, his, his Long John Silver being, like, shrinking because of steroids. So I think he'd be, like, going online for Reddit to ask for advice on what to do in that situation. But other than, like, that, like, I think that would be his main use of Reddit. Justin would be looking for validation online, and he would be looking on Reddit. Like, Oh my, like, look at that little smile. It's a cute smile, but, like, look at that little smile and don't think, like, that is a Reddit peruser. That is someone who has seen Reddit. That is a face that has made an upvote. That is someone who has written a person telling them to die. But, like, I think Justin would be, like, looking on Reddit because, like, he has, like, similar to Parker, but Justin laments about how everyone at Bullworth is fake. So he wants to, like, go online and see people, like, authentically be themselves behind the cover of anonymity. And, like, he would, like, find freedom in Reddit, I believe. And he might find a friend. Would you be Justin's friend? Would you like to see that smile? Would you like to make that smile happen? Karen would not use Reddit. I think Karen wouldn't really understand Reddit as a concept, and, like, people would be, like, introducing it to her, but it's kind of like when you introduce, like, a grandmother to something, like, it will not stick. It's fully sliding off. But I believe that Karen wouldn't actually want to use Reddit. Like, she wants to be on the team, and maybe she would go on trying to, like, look for sports advice. But I think Karen is the type of person who doesn't really ask for advice and, like, just tries to go through with it without getting grievously injured. But she sprained her ankle, but like, that, at least that's not that won't kill you. It depends on how bad you sprain your ankle. But Karen would be, like, the type of person to actually go in real life and, like, try things out for herself until she finds a way that works. Carl would not be using Reddit. Carl is very strict, and he does kind of like to abuse his power, but, like, all of the prefects kind of abuse their power, because I've seen prefects freaking choke tackle, like, a 12-year-old girl. Like, that, you know, you guys couldn't just, like, gently bring her down. And I was, like, I still remember them, because, like, they did it with Lola on the stairwell, and it just kind of looked like Lola got beheaded because her head went through the stairs for a second. And it was like I was like, I can't believe they've done this. But, like, they like, all the prefects abuse power, but I don't think Carl would want to use Reddit. Like, I think Carl's like the type of person who has their watch on military time, or, like, their phone. You know, he has this modern technology to access Reddit on military time. Like, he's just kind of strict like that, so I don't think he'd be using Reddit. Kirby would not use Reddit, and, like, similar to Bo that I talked about, you know, so long ago, I think Kirby would just kind of think that Reddit is for losers and would not want to use it. Like, if Kirby wanted to, like, look for something, like, about a specific topic, he'd be the type to, like, find a specific website for it, and not just, like, you know, the absolute abyss that is Reddit. Lance, I believe, surprisingly, would use Reddit, but he would be, like, the least Redditor that you could possibly meet. Like, I think he's, like, someone who's genuinely going into that website with joy and positivity in his heart, which would be on this side, because it's on the left side of the body, and, like, you know, they're facing at me. But Lance is, like, going in there with joy and positivity, and he's genuinely just looking, like, for book recommendations. He's looking for, like, new hobbies to try out, and, like, he would just use it for, like, because it is, like, a community thing. Lefty would not use Reddit. Lefty is the epitome of a scary blue-eyed person, but, you know, I don't think Lefty would be using Reddit, because I think Lefty is the type of person who, like, if he was looking for drama, he would just go to church, because, like, if you are inundated in a church's community, like, you start learning about things that you thought you would never experience in real life. But, like, Lefty seems like just a person who wouldn't be using social media, but if he was, he'd be using, like, Instagram and showing off group photos of all his cool friends, and then he'd get comments asking about his friends over him, and then he'd delete all of the posts. But I don't think he'd be using Reddit. Leon's a Reddit moderator. Leon literally has, like, nothing to do. Like, he doesn't want to get a job, and I think that's very aligned with the Reddit moderator spirit. why would I get a job when I can live with my mom? But Leon, like, straight up genuinely does watch TV all day. And, I think he would be going into, like, the reality television Reddit threads and be absolutely going, like, so, like, reading them all. He would never contribute because he's lazy like that. But he would be, like, absolutely, like, browsing Reddit for, like, 13 hours per day. Lola would not use Reddit. Lola, like, the most I think she would use is, like, so, like, she has Snapchat, and she has, like, I don't use a lot. I don't have social media except YouTube and, like, my like, proxy sites for other stuff because I don't want to count on them. But, like, Lola is, like, using, like, Snapchat and keeping streaks with, like, 30 people. Like, she doesn't have time for Reddit. Like, this is a face that is made for pictures, that is made for non-anonymity, and that does not include Reddit. Lucky wants people to have jobs, and he says that on Reddit. If he said that on Reddit, like, they would instantly dox his house, dox his friends' houses, and, like, would have the school being called in with a bomb threat. Like, I think Lucky just could not survive on Reddit. Like, it would be like pouring salt on a slug. So I think for, like, the safety of everyone, I'm not gonna put Lucky as a Reddit user or moderator. Lewis would not be using Reddit. Lewis just isn't built like that. Like, Lewis is used to be friends with Lefty, because remember, Lefty has this, like, line is like, yeah, I used to be friends with Lewis, and he's only, like, they only let him be a jock because they know that he'd kick all their asses. But I think Lewis would be the type of person who is, like, straight up just wants to be watching, like, pure cable television. Like, he would not be browsing on Reddit for something. Like, he just kind of wants to, he would look through a book. Like, it would take him a real long while to look because he can't really read books all that well, like all the other jocks. But he would, like, rather look through a book than try and look through Reddit. Mandy would actually be bullying people in real life who use Reddit. Like, I have Beatrice up here, and, like, Mandy will say, on your little website again? But I don't think Mandy would ever use Reddit. Like, she'd be using, like, the more mainstream stuff that, like, Snapchat and Instagram. Like, but she would never, ever use Reddit because it is, like, like, she would not be liking all of the words. Like, none of the jocks would except the ones that are, like, in need of it. Like, none of the jocks would really, like, be liking Reddit. But I think Mandy would not be using Reddit. Max. So, Max, like a lot of the other prefects, would not be a Reddit user, because I think Max just has, like, other things to do with his time. Like, this is too determined of a smile to... I mean, that's not a smile, that's a stare. I mixed them up because they began with S. But that's too determined of a stare to be spent staring at a blue light screen for hours on end. And, I just don't think he'd be wasting his life away. Oh my gosh, it's like I'm caressing him. But I don't think Max would be wasting his time on Reddit. Melody would be a Reddit user, but she'd be a very responsible one. She'd be a very light one. Kind of like Gloria. Like, little bit, the little girls all together, except for Karen, who's not using Reddit. But I think Melody would just kind of be using it because, like, she wants to find a curated community for stuff she likes. And I think she'd find, like, that Reddit is suggested and would decide to use that as, like, an easy way to find it. And also, like, I think Melody would enjoy the anonymity because she could be calling people, like, she can be swearing at people, like, online. Like, she swears at people in real life because she's the only one that's like that. But, like, could you not see Melody calling someone a little bitch on Reddit? Like, that is very canon in my mind. Oh my gosh, this is the easiest Reddit moderator ever. Melvin is literally the epitome of a Reddit moderator. For Orny X, who suggested this, if you are asking who I believe is the biggest Redditor in Bullworth, it's Melvin, undeniably. Because Melvin literally admits to, like, spending 8 hours making digital arrows. He's fat. he's such a pretentious guy because I heard this because I kept hitting him with my bike, but he's calling the person the R word, saying that they're not supposed to be driving. Like he's literally the most smug Redditor epitome ever. And he wants power because the thing is that unlike Ernest, Melvin isn't even a clique leader. He's a clique second in command. And I think that could very easily breed an inferiority complex that the only way Melvin could solve it would be getting to be a Reddit moderator and being a total draconian, enforcing draconian laws over the Reddit thread, the subreddit. I'm sorry, I kind of mixing up the terminology. But Melvin, just look at that chud face and be like, yeah, that's the guy that would only browse Reddit on occasion. No, this is 13-hour daily sessions of Reddit, during class time even. But on with that, Norton would not use Reddit. Actually no, Norton would use Reddit, but he would be trying to use it to give and receive advice, because I think Norton just kind of wants to have a direction in his life, because he does house demoing, but he has the if I could, I'd learn how to paint sunsets like Ponyboy. And I think that because he does have this tough guy exterior, but he's actually quite sweet and introspect. He knows how to have introspection on himself, and I think he would use Reddit and the code of anonymity to try and fully express himself. I think he'd be more interested in his sensitive side, learning how to paint, yapping about the outsiders. I think he would be in love on Reddit. Do you think Norton could find love on Reddit? Who out of this collection should we ship him with? Omar is not a Reddit user, but Omar is on as I said, Omar is on websites that no one has ever heard of. It's gonna be Goat Clicker 3000, and it's gonna be showing you videos of Mongolian farmers being attacked by animals. He would not be on Reddit, but he would be showing you things that are far worse than that. Otto would be a Reddit user. I think Otto is willing to, he's not completely off the end, because he does have some sense, and he has some initiative. He's very proactive, because he attacks me a lot when I don't have the townie respect yet. But Otto, I think that he would be Otto's a little scary looking, so the more I talk about him, the more scared I'm getting, because he's got those monkey ears, because they're very outturned, but they'd be cute if he had hair to go with it, but he's fully shaved. He's got the buzz cut, but he's not looking good in the buzz cut. But Otto would be going onto Reddit, trying to find advice. He would be going on to the r/anarchist subreddits and such, and just be looking at other people and how they cause chaos, and then work to implement it in his life. Parker's a Reddit user. Parker is freaking delusional. Remember, he has a whole cut thing about being in love with a gnome. I think Parker would be trying to use Reddit as a dating site, because you ever see the rejected Reddit things, and it's I saw that your avatar had eyelashes. What is a beloved female such as yourself doing up on here? But he'd be trying to be a little suave about it, and I think Parker would be using it to make online friends. But Parker would just kind of be he's looking for any sense of community, and unfortunately that community would end up being Reddit. Peanut would not use Reddit. Peanut would never use Reddit, because I don't think, actually no, Peanut would use Reddit if Johnny asked him to, or if Lola did, because he kind of likes them both. But I think Peanut would be he's trying to do things in the real life world, and I don't think he has the sense to go to Reddit to try and ask for something. It's like, how do I resolve my crush on 2 people? He would not think of that. And he would just be suffering for, like, in silence for years as he tried to think of the answer himself. But, like, then, like, you know, like, Jimmy would come in and instantly tell him, like, what he needs to do. And then he'd be like, oh, I've wasted so much time. But he would be, like, he'd be too dense to use Reddit, okay? It's like his hair, like, because I think all of the greasers' hair, like, you'd have to use, like, an actual knife to try and, like, start prying it off. Like, a crowbar. Well, not Johnny's, because Johnny's got that Justin Bieber slicked back, well, slicked down. But, like, you get the ideas. Gord would never use Reddit. Gord is, like, every time I see him, he is out touching grass. Because I see him walking all the time. I see him biking. I see him watching, you know, I see him, like, sightseeing. You can't sightsee on a blue screen. Like, Gord is, like, enjoying, like, the real life in the real world. And, like, he would be telling people to touch grass. Like, legitimately. So, Pedro is a 2B Reddit moderator. Because I think, because Pedro is, like, pretty sad and pathetic. And, like, I think that pretty fits the Reddit user base. Because, you know, Pedro kind of wets himself. But, I would give him, like, the same justification of, like, Algie and Bucky is that his parents wouldn't let him have Reddit because of screen time moderation. But Pedro, like, I think his parents are dead. Because in the beta, it's like, he has a line where it's like, both his parents are dead because he's at his, like, mom's funeral and he's being told that he's going to stay there as long as his trust fund supports him there. But I think, like, and Pedro, like, stays inside. Like, his, you know, people beat him up outside. So I think he would try to get his socialization through Reddit. Pete wouldn't be a very responsible Reddit user, because actually Pete would be going online and look at people who are suffering and thinks, well, at least my problems aren't as bad as theirs. Like, he goes on Reddit to make himself feel better about himself, because, you know, there's only so little, like, actual weight. Like, he has very little sway in the real world, but he'd be going on Reddit to use it as, like, a way to feel better about himself. Like, he'd be comparing people to, like, who, like, had to have their entire family burned down with their house, and he's gonna be like, you know, maybe life is worth living, because my life isn't that bad. And, like, I think, like, you guys don't understand, but Pete would be telling people, like, to, like, end themselves online. Like, I think, Pete is actually pretty mean, like, but it's just because that he doesn't have a body to back it up that he gets pushed over, because, you know, Pete would get punched in the face in real life for the stuff he would be saying on Reddit. Pinky, I don't think Pinky would use Reddit. I think she'd use, like, a different social media. Like, I think she wouldn't even use social media that much, but, like, she, you know, Pinky kind of gives me the vibes of a Facebook mom, but in, like, the most loving way that I possibly can mean that. Because, you know, she seems like she'd be considerate and, like, caring about the community. And, like, that would be, and, you know, that community would be, like, a real life one, not the ones online. So, Ray is shaped like a Reddit moderator, but he is a Reddit user, because, you know, Ray really just wants attention. So, similar to Gordon, I think he'd be lying online, because Ray has this freaking line where it's like, he's like, woo, I thought my cover was almost blown there, whatever, they don't know I was a secret undercover cop. And he would be posing as, like, an FBI investigator online, and he would be, like, he'd get caught in his lie, and then, like, every Reddit community would eventually be banishing him, and it would be so sad for him. But it's, like, it's a very joyous day for me, because I don't really like Ray. Because I saw him holding hands with Eunice once, and that shocked me so much. Like, I could never blame Eunice for any of her wrongs, except for when she, like, you know, low-key assaulted Pedro in the bathroom. But I think, like, Ray just wouldn't have enough sway to get even the losers of the losers to accept him as a Reddit moderator. But he would want to be. Ricky is going onto Reddit to his own detriment. Like, Ricky is, like, looking for life advice on Reddit on how to get over his girlfriend. And, like, people will be recommended, like, get a boyfriend instead, ha ha ha. And, like, nothing will actually help him. But he would be, like, trying to give people advice online and be looking at, like, Johnny's bike post on forums. And he, I think Ricky would be better suited for Facebook. But I think he could possibly be a Reddit user. Russell, I don't think Russell would understand the concept of Reddit or social media, and, like, I don't think he would be allowed on them, because, like, I think his people would be concerned about him being easily lied to online, because, like, I think Russell could have been convinced of the 2012 the world is ending theory, and that would not go over well for him. Like, he'd be hiding for, like, 4 months afterwards, and, like people would have to, like, have a whole search and rescue team looking for him. But I think Russell would be prevented from using social media to his own benefit. I'm sorry, but Seth is a Reddit moderator. But Seth is just doing it for the power trip. Seth is honestly, like, going on Reddit, and he doesn't even care about any of the things he's moderating. Like, he would be like the people who have, like, 124 subreddits being moderated, and he's only doing it so he can start insulting people online. Like, he lives on making a person's day worse. And, like, I think he could do that pretty easily with Reddit. Sheldon, I think, would actually not be using Reddit, because Sheldon seems like a pretty goody kid, because, he's friends with all of, like, the faculty, and he would see that, like, Reddit has, like, like, it only really wants, like, adults or 18 and older, and he would actually respect it instead of lying about his age like a normal person does. Like, he would see, like, oh, like, social media is banned for people under 13. Well, okay, then, I guess I'll have to do, like, a Sudoku then. And he would not be going. Tad, I think, would actually be prevented from any social media, because his dad is freaking awful. Like, and Tad's bike lines, where they're stolen, like, no, the vandalism lines is like, no, it's mine, and the bike lines is like, that's my bike, it's mine. Like, he seems pretty possessive over all of his stuff, because I think it's implied that his, like, father breaks his stuff, and I think his father would, like, on occasion be breaking all of his, like, electronics, and this would be just so disruptive that he wouldn't be able to, like, maintain, like, a steady account on Reddit, and therefore just wouldn't bother with it anymore. And I think, like, his dad would be preventing him from, like, going online and, like, looking for resources to help, unfortunately. But Ted would not use Reddit. Ted would actively be bullying anyone who uses Reddit, but besides the other jocks that I put up here as Reddit users. But Ted is just the classic bully where he just wants to get up and physical with you. Like, he does not care about online things. He only cares about, like, what's happening in the here and now. What can he physically see and smell? Like, he would not care about the online world. Thad's a Reddit moderator. Thad is such a power tripping, like, I still hate on Paparazzi when he's putting up the freaking posters again. Like, this is why I always, like, beat him up, because you can actually, like, beat him up and stop him from, like replacing the posters. But Thad is just in such desperate pursuit of wanting power that I believe that he would want to be a Reddit moderator just for the power, and also I think he'd be, like, looking at the Game of Thrones stuff, like, Thad would be going onto subreddits for television shows just to spoil them with, like, news from the books, because, Thad wants problems on other people, but he doesn't want problems for himself, like, which is reasonable. Tom would be a freaking Reddit moderator, and not in the sense that he's, like, actually moderating stuff, but, like, I think Tom would very easily get pulled onto Reddit, like, like rabbit holes. Like, he thinks Reddit is niche, but it's not. It's like people who think, like, that the moon landing was fake. It's like, get a better conspiracy theory. Say that the moon was actually replaced with the moon landing. But like he would be getting onto Reddit and he would be getting in all of these like rabbit holes, and it would be very scary because like he'd be like fully absorbed like with a 12-hour shift, and like he would be like actually going out into the real world with Reddit advice, and that would not be going well for anyone. Trent is using Reddit and he's using it just for the porn. Like Trent is just using Reddit to go to NSFW subreddits and look at the porn. Like I think that's the only thing he would use like the online world for, instead of like, well, maybe looking for like job listings for being an actor, or, you know, being in his own like online mini-series. But like if he's using Reddit, like I think he would use Reddit, and I think he'd use it just for the porn. Trevor would not use Reddit. Trevor seems like he just wants to have a good life. And I can't really say much about him because I can't remember much about him right now. But Trevor like seems like he just wants to become a well-adjusted individual, and if you want to be a well-adjusted individual, do not use Reddit. Troy would not use Reddit, but I think it's because he doesn't really like understand the concepts of Reddit. Like I think Troy like has like a like disorder, and I think that he wouldn't really want to be going on to Reddit because like he seems very stinted in speech, and you know Reddit does have like a lot of pictures. Like you can use Reddit like a picture book, but I think he has like no reason to go on to Reddit. You know, Vance I believe would actually be a Reddit user because, you know, Vance has like that hidden nerdy side in him, because he seems to kind of like, because, you know, he does like dress up as a pirate, and he does like seem to have like an interest, and like he rhymes a lot, so he's a little bit of, you know, he's a little dorky, and like I think he doesn't feel safe enough to release that out into the physical world anymore, because like none of his friends understand, and he stopped dressing up as a pirate when Jimmy beats him up by the, you know, pirate ship in Bullworth Vale, because you have to do that for 100%ing the game. But like he doesn't do it he doesn't go there anymore, and like he's been like shut out of real life for some of the stuff he wants to do, and I think he would go online to be able to express himself for things he wants to do. Wade would be a Reddit user, and he would be going on like unhinged rants on Reddit, and like people would be feeling him. Like he would be going on how he like wants to kill his dad, and like people will think he's joking and such, so they'll like give him advice, and then he actually goes and does it and goes to prison. But I think Wade would be using Reddit and like as just kind of a way to vent, because like you see a lot of things on Reddit, and it's like, oh, I've in a 13-year abusive relationship, and it's like it's sad, but it's kind of like, what am I supposed to do about it? Zoe would not use Reddit. Zoe just wants to experience the real world in real life. She wants to go to a big city, and you know, she would not be focused on the online world when she could, you know, be protesting the pollution of the environment in the real world. And like she would be telling people like, like if she was shown a Reddit post, she'd be like, that's cool and all, but what do you want to do with your life? What job are you set out to do? What aspirations do you want to achieve? Because like she has big dreams, and Reddit is not built for people with big dreams. But here is my final adjustment. Now the thing is as I said, Melvin is the biggest Redditor for the person who asked. You know, Ornyx or Ornyx. I'm sorry, I should have asked how to pronounce your name. But this is my like a thing of whether the students at Bullworth would use Reddit. I hope some people find the video funny, because I felt like I wasn't being that funny. But with that is all. Goodbye.